Have you ever wondered how decentralized application actually works and how it sends transaction to the blockchain network? Usually all these applications which we are building is based on a third-party intermediary called Infura. Now imagine the RPC connection that we are using of Infura, if it is down or maybe something happened to the Infura company, God forbid, then what will happen? So your decentralized application is actually 10% relying on the 10% dependency on a third party, which is not good. So in this case, what is the best idea? What is the best architecture you should follow? So here, I just wanted to share you some insight that how you can run your own entire node, running Geth node and consensus node, and how you can configure these two to synchronize your entire distributed ledger under your own system. So we will configure all these things. I'm going to take you on a walkthrough of this entire configuration where you will run your entire node under your own system, so that tomorrow you don't need maybe Infura, but maybe you will be using your own Geth node client, which is directly connected with the blockchain network. So any transaction that you will send, it will go through it to the blockchain network without having any intermediaries or without any dependency. My name is Farhan Khan and you're watching Blockchain Falcon. I'm a blockchain leader, an architect, and I teach blockchain technology. Okay, first thing first, you have to download the Geth node. Geth node is an execution application, which means that it provides the interactivity between DApp application, your truffle framework, your foundry framework, or whatever, whichever your framework you are using, maybe hard hat. You can connect directly to your Geth node before deploying any contract on the blockchain network, because blockchain network doesn't allow you to directly connect with the blockchain network without any specific client. So what it does, it runs in the middle on your system, and then you can allow your application to communicate with this Geth node, and then it can transfer your transaction or broadcast your transaction to the network. However, in order to run this Geth node, you have to have your own consensus client as well, because without a consensus client, you cannot synchronize your entire blockchain distributed ledger, which you need it, because if you don't download the entire, or maybe some part of the versions which are the updated one, if you don't download those, then it will not reflect the current status of your existing blockchain network. For example, if you are going with the Sepolia network or mainnet network or maybe Goerli network, you have to have these blockchains under, the ledger must be downloaded by you or your system, so then it can reflect those statuses based on it. So download this entire walkthrough is based on the Windows, so I'm going to download the Windows one. I have already downloaded and I have installed it already. So my suggestion is for you to download and install this Geth node. Here we have documentation as well. If anyone would like to read the documentation, they can go here and they can read the documentation very easily. It is already available on the Go Ethereum website, which you can Google and you can find it very easily. So here now, the second thing what we need to do is we need to open a CMD command line prompt, where we will run our Geth node in a development mode. So initially what I'm going to tell you how you can run a Geth node in the development mode. Okay, now I'm assuming that you have already downloaded the entire Geth node in development mode. You must download development tools as well, so that you can download the Sliff, which is another user management tool, which is coming directly with the same package. So make sure that you must have development tool as well. Anyway, so now let's find out if we have the Geth node. We will check its version. Now you can see my version is 1.12. So this is the version, this is the latest version that I have downloaded. And now I'm assuming that now my Geth is already properly installed. I'm sure it is installed. So what I'm going to do is I need to create some new account. But before creating a new account, I must think about why I'm using Geth. Okay, initially this is very recommended as well for you, that when you are running Geth first time, it's better to use it in a simulation mode. Simulation mode or development mode is a mode where you can actually test the Geth node, how it works, how it runs, and then you can do some like testing. You will have some fake Ethereum ethers, so you can run it easily and you can test it easily. You can see its libraries and so on. So this is a suggestion that if you wanted to do it. So in order to show you how you can go in the development mode, what you have to write is first get, and then you have to give the data directory. Now data directory is the directory where you wanted to create your entire chain, block ledgers and everything. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to tell that I need to open this in with a new folder. I will call it my node, and inside that I will use dev. Why I'm saying dev is because I'm going to use the development mode. I'm not going directly on the live network, so I wanted to show you how you can do that. So if I'll do this thing, get data directory is this. Now what I'm gonna do is I need to create first account. How I can create an account? I must write account new. When I put this statement, then it will create a new public and private key for me, which means it will be 100% compliant with the Ethereum, so that I can use the public address for the ether in order to take any ethers or receive any ether or transfer any ether and so on. So now it is asking, you have to provide like around like some you have to give the password for sure. So I'm going to give some password just for the sake of testing. I'm putting a very simple password like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, but it is not recommended. Don't use this password for anything, but this is just to show you how we can create. Now you can see, now we have our public address, Ethereum public address, it created for us, which is this one, and it created the entire key store file. Now what is key store file? Key store file contains your private key, and it is actually generated it actually used with alongside with your public key. So wherever you are doing your transaction, you need your private key to sign it before it will send any transaction on the blockchain network. So we created one public address. We can create another one. So we can create another one. Now we have two different accounts, and we successfully created those. Now what I want to do is I want to run this get in development mode. So what I'm doing is, now I have removed the new account because we already created two accounts, and both account has around like 50 ethers as you can say fake ethers, of course. And then after adding this, okay, now when I add a development mode, it ran, but it is asking me that I have to provide the developer account's password. Now whenever you will run your development mode in Geth, you have to provide a password file in order to run it. So in order to provide the password file, what I can do is I can go to my node, and then I can create here inside this place one file, new file here with the name secret. In this one I will put 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Now I have put this secret, it's a password of my first account. So I have two accounts here, 1 and 2. These are the files that you can see. If you want to see what is inside, I can show you. It has the structure of maintaining. Here you can see this is the public address of your second account with this cipher text, which is your private key. So but in order to use this one, you have to provide your password, so then it will decrypt it and then use your secret key for the signing. So in order to use this one, I have provided this file secret, and I'm going to tell this here password and secret.txt. Now if I run this, okay, says isn't fine. Okay, I need to give this file exact path. And there you go. So here you can see when we ran this, it gave me all the detailing where we are connected, what it's doing, what's happening. So you will start seeing a lot of like console logs. Remember, when you are working in the development mode, it's more like an in-memory based in-memory based transaction. When you close it, then everything will be wiped out. So this is a simulator of the one that you can utilize it. Here you can see our IPC Geth inter-process communication URL, which you can use when you need to communicate with your Geth node. So here, if you see what it's saying, you have right now, this is your developer account, and it is the same like your Coinbase account as well. Remember, here we are creating a block from zero, so it's supposed to start from zero. Now I will create in order to interact with this Geth node, I need to open another command line. So here I can go back and we can write get attach, and I can provide here the URL of IPC. I can give this here, and there you go. So now I am on a JavaScript console, which will allow me to communicate with the existing node which I'm running in the development mode. Here you can see this is my existing data directory, and after it is attached, it allows me to do multiple tasks or things. First of all, if you write ETH and if you enter, you will start seeing a lot of different functions which are provided by this specific ETH library. And if you wanted to see number of accounts that you have right now, what you can do is eth.accounts, and then you can see there are two different accounts we have. One of them is a Coinbase account, or you can say the main developer account that we are using, which has like 50 Ether. Anyway, if I write eth.coinbase, then you will see the same account. So the Coinbase account is equal to the first account that you have at the moment. Now what I'm gonna do is I wanted to see how much Ether I have at the moment. So in order to see, we can see it in eth.get balance, and we can provide eth.accounts 0, and there you go. It is showing the denomination here is different, but we have almost like 50 Ether at the moment. And if I wanted to see the other one, which is account number 1, you will see 0. So we don't have anything here other than this account and the detail. So all these things are actually working because of this Geth node which is running, and the Geth node allowed this IPC URL, and that's why our JavaScript console is connected directly to this Geth node. Now what I'm gonna do is I wanna send some transaction. Maybe I want to send some transaction from this account to this one. So what I will do is eth.send transaction, and then I will put from eth.account 0. You can also put the entire hexadecimal of this, and then to this. put here as, yeah. And then I have to mention about the value that we have, web3.2v, and we will provide maybe 1.5 ethers we will transfer in ether. And there you go. Okay, I unexpected 2 errors. I think I didn't close it properly. Okay, I forgot to put something here. If you look at this, and there you go. Nope, you cannot read property 0. Oh yes, you don't have to do these mistakes, but anyway. There you go. Now you can see this hash is the transaction hash, and here you can see also on the main Geth client, where you can see it says commit new sealing work, which means that here mine potential block. So you see things are going here, and the transaction, okay, submitted transaction, here you can see this is the transaction that we just created. Hash is this one, and we have the same hash here. This is the same hash that is created after our this transaction by sending it. So this is the place where you can do all kinds of different testing. If you go to the Go Ethereum URL, this one, if you go there, here Go Ethereum, and you will find a lot of documentation on this specific subject. Anyway, now since we know how to run it, what we can do, we can now connect this Geth node to the Sepolia network. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to close this from here as well, and I will do like Control-C to close from here. And now I have to put, instead of dev, now development node was for the development purpose. If you start using the same data directory, then it will start giving you error or issues. So better not to use the same one. So I am creating a new directory with the name Sepolia, and the password, we don't need the password at the moment. However, what we need is we need to provide the network name Sepolia, and in addition to this one, we need to provide HTTP, and we need to provide HTTP APIs as well, http.api, and we need to provide ETH, net, ETH, net, web, and admin. We need all these APIs before running our entire connection with the Geth. Okay, now when I will run this, it will connect directly to the Sepolia network, and yep, it worked. Here you can see our Sepolia network is connected. This is our chain ID. You can see this is a proof of stake merged from Ethash proof of work. So right now we are running this Geth node, which is complied with the proof of stake. Just wanted to tell you this one. Okay, in addition to this one, now you can see one more thing. It is my node Sepolia Geth. We have here JWT secret. This secret is generated automatically, and this secret we will use when we will use our consensus client. Why we need consensus client? Consensus client is usually used for the synchronization purpose. When you are downloading when you are downloading the distributed ledger, you need the head of these distributed ledger. You need to have the real status, the current status of the blockchain network. So how you can do that? Geth node doesn't download this by itself. I mean, you need an external, or you can say extra node, beacon node, which can download these entire blocks for it for the Geth. Then Geth can be allowed to use with the proper interaction. Right now, if if I go here and if I, let's say if I connect this, now here you can see we are connected with the Sepolia network. I wanted to check if my blocks are syncing, so I can write eth.syncing, and when you will see it says false, because Geth node will not going to download these blocks by itself, so you need to run an external party, otherwise it will not. Even if you write eth block number, you won't find any number except 0. So these are the things I wanted to show you, quick things that why you need Prysm or maybe any other. Now let's move to the consensus part. Now we need a consensus client which should be connected with our Geth node, and both of these two awesome applications need to work. Okay, now we are on the Prysm website. You can find prelabs.network, docs.prelabs.network. This is actually an amazing tool, and you can use this client to run as a consensus client for you. If you are interested in using any other client, you can find out these clients from the. Okay, now next step is we need to download the consensus client for the Ethereum network, including Sepolia, maybe Gurley or mainnet. So we have like following option at the moment on the get.ethereum.org. If you go on this documentation, you will find these 4 or 5 different clients which are like officially complied with these networks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use this Prysm. Prysm is one of the best client, which is very easy to run, very easy, it's smooth, and it has a lot of like good features that you can provide, like what is your operating system, you can tell which network you are applying for, and so on. So what I'm doing is I'm saying Windows, I would like to connect with this Sepolia Geth network, Geth execution client that I'm using, and I'm going to connect it with the JWT token, which we already saw that how it generated by the Geth. So it says a lot of it shows you a lot of steps here, so I'm going to just skip most of them. If you wanted to read thoroughly, you can come and you can read it. However, the major part is that you need to download the using let me first exit this one. Okay, I think this one is already stuck, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to close this one and I'll open another command line because I stopped the blockchain. No, I didn't. Here you can see, by the way, post merge network, but no beacon client seen. So basically the beacon client is actually your consensus client that you need to download. So I'm going to my node, which I have already here. I've created a folder with the name Sepolia, so I'm going to go inside and I will create another directory with the name consensus. Now I have consensus client directory, and we can go down here and we can see there is a curl request. Okay, and this is the best way to do that. If I just paste it anyway, it pasted and it worked, and I think I got it. Prysm that is already downloaded, I believe. Yeah, I think it's pretty much done. Now the second thing is I need to register this for the verbose logging. So what I can do is I'll just click this one and it says value exists. Okay, I did this before, but I'm doing it again. So there are 2 different statements here. One, it will allow you to download. So what is download network? I can see here a consensus, and then I can see Prysm. So the Prysm, we have the this bat file, and in order to run this Prysm, we have set that we need to see the logging of the Prysm in a verbose way. which means that I need a very detail oriented information. That's why we actually added this registry key in the. Okay, now the second thing is we need to download the very first block of the Sepolia network, and this is already available here. If you write Genesis, you will find this here, Sepolia Genesis state from GitHub. So you need to download this block. This is the first block of the Sepolia network. You must have this with you. It's a very important part. So I have this link, GitHub, and if I go here, I can download this entire this file. So I'm going to download this one. Once it downloads itself, you have to move this file into your directory. So I have my directory here. So I'll go to the Sepolia and then consensus, and there you go. So I've stored it. That's it. Okay, so now what we need to do is we will go there. We'll copy this this statement. Here you can see the statement is here. We have Prysm bet, beacon chain, execution endpoint. Make sure your execution endpoint is equal to that one. Anyway, let's try this here. I'll just copy this here. Make sure that genesis.sz you already have downloaded inside the directory. Yes, inside the consensus Prysm we have this beside the Prysm bat, and then we need to provide the JWT token, a secret token created by or generated by the Geth client. So for this one, you can go back to the Geth client and you can find here the Geth client path. Just copy this path and put it here. Now you can see that I have pasted this here. Now the last thing is we have to put a new recipient client, which is like your user, your existing Ethereum EOA account user. I've created a new account inside Sepolia key store. If you wanted to create a new one, you just need to follow the same thing that I've showed you just a while ago. And in order to create this one, I can show you again how you can create this new. You need to create this account. Now here you can see instead of dev, I will use Sepolia. And then I will put the password. And there you go. Now we have two different accounts here in the Sepolia. Previously we created two accounts inside the dev, which you can see here as well. But if you wanted to move these files to the Sepolia, you can do that. But anyway, I've created this one. Now I just wanted to use this file as a suggested fee account. So I'm going to delete the existing one and I'll just paste here. And we are good to go. Last thing you need to check is the localhost 8551. Make sure that your endpoint is exactly same as what you want. And before running, I mean, you have to run the Geth again. And here you go. We have 8551 port with the localhost. Yes, I think this is fine. Localhost 8551 HTTP. Let's run it. Okay, now it is asking me to allow this access. I'm giving the access now, and here you go. It starts working and it starts syncing and looking for the peers to start syncing the blocks and so on. So here you can see these different logs, which you can translate these logs by going to the documentation. Here you can click the troubleshooting, and then any log that you want to do, translate and understand what does that mean. Let's say we wanted to copy this one, and now here you can see initial sync. It's working, seems like. and I can see what does it mean by that. No active pair. Okay, waiting for enough suitable syncing. So here you will see your Beacon node might be suffering from connectivity problem with it improve P2P. Anyway, so these kinds of logs you can find really easily here. 1311072. Now your both systems are working. Here you can start seeing that I've stopped it by mistake, but both are working. Now, in order to see the situation, how many blocks we have downloaded or what are the destination behind those things, these troubleshooting will provide you a few good checklists which you can check it here, like selecting configuration above, check quick configuration, all those things. However, I'm more interested in showing you the Geth part, where you can communicate using curl for the syncing purpose. So now we need to see if syncing is finished or what is the status of the syncing. I'll create another command line and I'll just write this and look at this. Now when I call this function, it returns me that the sync distance is 2607997. And is syncing? Yes, synchronization has been started and it's working at the moment. But if I see it again, you will see a different syncing distance. So you will find these things. Head slot previously was 22655. Head slot now is 22719. So you need some time to synchronize this entire blockchain ledger under your system. You can find the details of this thing inside the Geth, and then you will see the chain data and try cache these data. There is another curl that I wanted to show you, Beacon node pair connectivity. You can use this one to see the health of existing pairs. And here you can see initial blockchain service is okay. I think there are some problems coming in that between synchronization out of sync because it's not synchronized. Gateway is running perfectly fine. Prometheus service is fine. P2P service is so your entire node available which you can run. You can connect it with your MetaMask if you wanted to see that how you can connect you with your MetaMask. Let's go here and I can connect with the new network. What I need to do is just click here, add network, and in the add network you can create a new network with the new name, maybe call it Geth network 2, and the new RPC URL, make sure that you provide a proper URL for the RPC, and for that one you can find this RPC, this one, which has nothing to do with the token, and make sure to provide the HTTP, and then you have to provide the chain ID, which is double 551. If you are unaware about the chain ID, you can find this chain ID on the top here, this one. Then I'll put ETH, and there you go. Once I save this, now you can see I'm connected with the Geth network 2, which is run by my Geth node. If you look at the previous Sepolia network, and if you go inside its setting, you can see Sepolia network is always based on Infura intermediary. So here you can see the RPC URL that is used by the MetaMask is Sepolia Infura, and similarly any network which is connected, which you are connecting, you are actually depending on these intermediaries like Infura or any other. So that's it. Now since I'm running my own network, Geth network, so I have to wait for the Ether account, Ethereum. I mean, I have to wait for my updated status, because technically, if I'll just change this one to this, you will see 0.2988 Sepolia Ether I have. But when I'm going back to my own Ether Geth account, I don't see it because we are not synchronized yet. So let it sync, and then you can do whatever you want. Anyway, so you were watching the entire walkthrough. I hope you enjoyed it, and just try yourself at your home how to run this Geth node. And yeah, that's it.